Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's session, Power in 3 Minutes, Stories to Change Your Life. And this is part of our series, 30 Days into Greatness, 30 Days to Step into Your Greatness. And for the next 30 days, I'm going to be sharing human interest stories that will inspire you to change your story and subsequently your life. And as you know, because I have mentioned it yesterday and the day before and the day before, from the first day to today, which is the 5th day, I have mentioned that there are certain stories, and so many of the stories we tell ourselves, which are really illusions, they're really illusionary. And I believe today, the story I'm going to be telling is one of those. I believe it will bring home the message about how our perception is so strong and can influence whether we advance or do not. Right. And I keep mentioning, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that quote, I first had it from Dr. Wayne Dyer, who has totally influenced my life and a lot of my thinking. Obviously, him and many other teachers that I have been fortunate to be at their feet. So today, I want you to join me and share this with your friends, because this 3-minute story, it's definitely going to change the way you think about how and what you think about. So, Shakespeare said, nothing is good or bad. Our thinking makes it so. And, that ages ago when I heard that, that got me thinking, does that mean how we think is actually what determines whether something is good or bad, And I came to the conclusion that that truly is true. I mean, of course, we can decide to go deeper into morality, into social thinking, into community thinking. But that's not what we are here today. Today, we are here because I want to bring home that nothing is good or bad. Our thinking makes it so. Therefore, and that brings me to the story that I want to tell. There was this person, right? He was a scientist and working at a scientific lab at night. He entered into a walk-in freezer and the door closed behind him. It just shut behind him. There was no way to open that door from inside, and there was no one else in that lab. So the scientist, he slowly realized to his horror that he would not be able to get out until the door was opened in the morning when people came in for their shifts. And he could not possibly survive the frigid, freezing temperatures, right? And he thought, oh my God, this is death for me. This is a freezing. Unless a miracle happens, I'm going to die in here. He started thinking like that. It was a terrible realization, and he spent some time trying to figure out, how can I get out? But truly, there was no way to get out. But remember, he was a scientist, right? So he decided, well, since I'm going to die anyway, I might as well record, what's happening, and this might be helpful to people to know what happens as people freeze to death, right? So he got from his pocket, I'm just gonna get a pen, right? From his pocket, he had a notebook and a pen, and he started writing. It is now 10 p.m. and I'm getting colder. So he recorded the time and how he was feeling. And then at about midnight, he recorded, it is 12 o'clock. It's 12 midnight. And my toes and my fingers are completely frozen. I can't even feel my mouth. I can't feel my lips. He continued to record, and he was recording every hour he was recording. And he began to say how he was writing, how he was feeling, how he was freezing, right? And the physical sensation that he was feeling. Eventually, he wrote that, I am beginning to lose consciousness and I can't hold it anymore. I am going to die and I accept my death. And as he held onto his notebook, with those being his last words, I am going to die. I have accepted my fate. And in that exact position, with that being his last sentence, that's how his colleagues found him in the morning, lying there beside his notebook, dead. But here is the interesting thing. His colleagues also found that the temperature that he had been writing was actually not that cold. It wasn't freezing at all. It wasn't nearly as cold as he said it was. It wasn't nearly as cold to kill someone. There was plenty of oxygen to last through the night. The conditions in the freezer had not killed him. The man, the scientist, had died of his own perception that this was a freezer. And in freezing conditions, people died. So here we go. I don't even know how else to explain or extrapolate that story. Again, we go back to what Shakespeare said. Nothing is good or bad. Our thinking makes it so. And we know, you guys know, I'm a psychologist, as a scientist as well. We know that our thinking is so monumental. It's so powerful. It's so potent. In fact, the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. Yeah? We think in secret, and it comes to be. Right? So it's important to challenge your thinking. It's important to challenge our perceptions. Yeah, some of you might say, oh, but it's true, it's true, it's true. We have to be able to recognize that there are facts, yes, and there's also truth. I think yesterday I talked about going above the challenge, thinking beyond and above the challenge. Can you think something different? If it is true, and it is, that as a man thinketh, so is he, can we then learn to think whatever is high, whatever is of good fortune, whatever is, whatever is good? Can we learn to think of that instead of being blinded, being sheltered, being glazed by our own old perceptions? Is it possible? a lot of what we fear, a lot like this man, like this scientist, it was from memory. The situation, the temperature wasn't that, but because his thinking is clouded that a freezer is supposed to be this kind of temperature, and it's supposed to kill someone if you're there for any length of time. The truth was clouded by that. So I always say, and I do that, I mean, when I tell these stories, never think at any one point that I don't fall for the, I am human as well, and I fall short all of the time. But it's important for all of us to actually question the truth of what we are thinking in every situation. But that requires intentionality. It requires being present and thinking beyond what you see, beyond what you feel. Is it easy? Of course not. It's not easy because we were not conditioned to think like that. We were conditioned to go by sight. But we must learn to be people who don't go by sight or by might, but by insight, by, let our imagination, let's think from a deeper position than just what we have been conditioned. Right. I don't want to explain so much because remember, this is Power in 3 minutes. The stories are supposed to last for just 3 minutes, but I often find myself over-expressing, over-explaining. I'm so glad you're here. And I hope that today's story ignites something in you, inspires something in you to be present, to question, to critically evaluate situations so that your thinking is not clouded by the memory of what has happened before. I'll speak to you tomorrow for day 6 of our Power in 3 minutes, our 30 days to step into your greatness. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.